So let's talk about silent things. And this comic strip actually demonstrates very nicely an example of what I mean by a silent thing. So you see here, our school's having a spring dance. I heard. Would you like to volunteer? Do they need people to decorate? No, they're just going to decorate the gym. You can wear whatever you want. And then it takes her a moment. She says, I just got that. And the ambiguity here, the reason why this is funny is because do they need people to decorate involves you interpreting the subject or the object of decorating, right? So if the typical interpretation, do they need people to decorate? People are the ones doing the decorating. They're the silent subject of decorate in some sense. But a possible interpretation, which is the one that makes this funny over here, is that people are the ones being decorated. They're the ones that you're going to decorate. They're the object of decorate. Do they need people to decorate, right? To decorate the people. And so the reason this ambiguity is possible is because we can interpret silent subjects and silent objects and sometimes silent indirect objects that go along with these sorts of sentences that in English tend to begin with the word to, which is a marker of non-finiteness, no tense. And so we'll see some examples of that in just a moment. So the idea basically is that some sentences allow other sentences inside of them, so you can have this frame, we know something, and the thing that you know can be an entire sentence, like we know children eventually acquire language. And so the sentence, children eventually acquire language, acts like the direct object of the verb know. It's the sentence inside the main sentence, which we sometimes call the embedded clause, the subordinate clause, the sentential complement, but it's this thing, right? And it looks like a normal sentence. But sometimes certain verbs will allow what seem to be these partial or incomplete sentences that follow them that don't have tense. There's no will, there's no did, there's no might. It's just this, in English, this word to. Right? So these are called non-finite clauses, as I mentioned before, and in English they're signaled by having the word to before a verb. So the girl tried to save her brother. The king hopes to win the game. The goblins wanted to keep the boy. The dwarf decided to help the girl, right? You have things that look like sentences, except they seem to, in this case, kind of be missing a subject, right? Who's saving, who's winning, who's keeping, who's helping, right? And so here in each of these cases we have a silent or implied subject. So who's doing the saving in the girl tried to save her brother? So you think about the saving event. The one being saved, the object of save is her brother, but the one doing the saving is really the girl. The king hopes to win the game. Well, who does he want to do that winning? The king himself, right? The king is the subject of the winning event. The goblins wanted to keep the boy. Who's keeping the boy? Well, the goblins would be the ones doing the keeping. The dwarf decided to help the girl. Well, who's doing the helping in this event of helping the girl? Well, it would be the dwarf, right? So even though the subject is way over here and sort of attached to this main verb in each case, it's also the silent subject of these embedded clauses, these non-finite embedded clauses.